A very good morning to one and all. Requesting all to please settle down. On behalf of KES Shroff College, Department of Multimedia and Mass Communication, and Blue Mangoes Media Club, I extend a warm welcome to our dignitaries for the day. I welcome our VMM head, Dr. Vidhi Rajora, our speakers for the day, Mr. Saur Badma, Mr. Sanket Warak, and Dr. Amrish Saxena, and my dear colleagues and students. Also, I would like to extend a special welcome to our guests from Delhi from DME Institute. Today, we have all gathered for a one-day national seminar on the theme Transformations in Media, Navigating New Frontiers, Unlocking Opportunities. Light is a symbol of brightness and prosperity. As sunlight expels the darkness of night, blessing brings into our life prosperity and happiness. To make this event a blessed one, let us invoke Goddess Saraswati by kindling the lamp of knowledge and wisdom. I invite our guests, Dr. Vidhi Rajora, Mr. Saurabh Verma, Mr. Sanket Varak, and Dr. Amrish Saxena to come forward for the lighting of the lamp. I also request Dr. Sushmita Bala, Mr. Madhav Sharma, and Ms. Manasi to please. Also, I would request Ms. Nisha Bhatt as special invitee to join the Thank you. We are very grateful to have you with us today. I request our guests to be seated on the dais. Dr. Vidhi Rajora, Mr. Sanket Varak, Mr. Saurabh Verma, and Dr. Amrish Saxena. I request you all to move to the dais. Carnegie Education Society's B.K. Shroff College of Arts and M.H. Shroff College of Commerce was established in the year 1989. The college received the Best College 2017-18 award from the University of Mumbai and has recently been granted autonomous status. It is accredited with A grade 3.27 by NAC in the second cycle and is also an ISO 9001-2015 certified institution. The college has been nominated a Paramarsh College by the UGC and is mentoring several colleges to pursue excellence under the same scheme. Above all, the college has recently been bestowed with the QSI Gorge Gold ranking. KESSC has completed 34 glorious years igniting the flame of academic excellence and imparting knowledge to almost 10,000 students. In order to equip students to face the challenges in the corporate world, we follow the cafeteria approach, providing 18 undergraduate programs and 12 postgraduate programs. The college also has a PhD center in commerce affiliated to the University of Mumbai in the subjects of business economics and business policy and administration. We also offer 108 certificate and diploma courses and have tie-ups with TCS Ion, FinPlan for Association of Chartered Company Accounts, Manorama School of Communication, Ambition Solution for Skill Development, and KES Institute of Fashion Designing. In addition, certificate courses in digital learning, animation, graphics, and film technology are offered through the Academy of Digital Arts ADA. Apart from this, we conduct many extracurricular activities to ensure the holistic development of the students. About the Department of BAMMC. The Department of Mass Media was started in 2008 as an undergraduate program which was affiliated to the University of Mumbai. Later, the University of Mumbai changed the nomenclature of Bachelor of Arts in Mass Media to Bachelor of Arts in Multimedia and Mass Communication, which we now call as BAMMC in 2019, and we became the Department of Multimedia and Mass Communication. The department runs one undergraduate program and offers 6 short-term certificate courses. This program and the certificate courses offer a combination of the most advanced skill-oriented courses designed to match the skill sets demanded by the industry. The learners have 24/7 access to a well-equipped studio with a green screen and dubbing facilities, a Mac lab, and other high-tech equipments. The Department of Multimedia and Mass Communication is special because it is managed by a dedicated full-time faculty and several industry experts who come as visiting faculties. With a strong faith in collaborative teaching and learning, the department has over 300 students and is known for its diverse, vocal, and enthusiastic students on campus who are preparing for careers in journalism, advertising, and the film industry. Now, as we move to the seminar, the advent of the internet paved the way for revolutionary and intense transformations in the media industry. Driven by the digital boom, advancements in technology have fundamentally changed the way the media industry operates in the 21st century, causing disruptions along with creating new opportunities and challenges for media organizations, professionals, and consumers, radically changing the media landscape. Digital transformation in media is important because it allows media companies to take advantage of new technologies and digital channels to reach and engage with the audiences. It has fostered relationship between small-scale content producers and big publishers and improved the experiences of users worldwide. It is an ever-evolving process, and as technology continues to develop and digital solutions become more commonplace, media companies are finding new ways to leverage their digital presence. Essential components of a successful media strategy. This seminar takes a look back as well as a look forward to understand the transformation process and how it is reshaping the future of media and communication industries and the challenges that it faces. I now request Dr. Vidhi Rajoda to address our audience and give the concept note.
Good morning, one and all present here. On behalf of the Department of Multimedia and Mass Communication, I extend a warm welcome to all the guests of today's seminar, Mr. Saurabh Verma, Mr. Sanket Varak, Dr. Ambrish Saxena, teachers from DME, students, and all the participants for this one-day national seminar on digital transformation, navigating future, unlocking opportunities. We are truly honored to have you all here today as we embark on a journey to explore the dynamic landscape of digital transformation. All these days, we have been discussing about the advent of AI in all media, be it music, film, advertising, or journalism. It becomes very important for all of us as media educators and people belonging to the media field to adapt to the changing technology. Technology has become the cornerstone of progress, reshaping industries, business, and even our daily lives. Today, we gather not just to witness this transformation, but to understand how it unlocks a multitude of opportunities and equip us to navigate an increasingly complex future. Digital transformation is not a mere buzzword, it's a catalyst for innovation, efficiency, and growth. Throughout this seminar, we aim to delve deep into the heart of digital transformation. We have today a panel of distinguished experts who will share their insights and experiences, shedding light on the strategies and technologies that are reshaping our world. This seminar is not just about theory, it's a real world application. It's an opportunity for us to collaborate, share knowledge, and leave with a clearer vision of how we can harness digital transformation. Students, I encourage each one of you to actively participate in the discussions, ask questions, and network with your peers. The connections that you make today will be the key to unlocking your own path towards a digitally transformed future. At the end, I want to express my gratitude to our distinguished speakers and all of you for being here today. Your presence is a testament to the importance of this topic, and together we will explore how digital transformation can open doors to new opportunities and guide us through the uncharted territory, the future. Thank you and enjoy the seminar.
Thank you, ma'am. Now it's time to honor and felicitate our guests for the day. I request Dr. Vidhi Rajora to felicitate our chief guest, Mr. Saurabh Verma. I request Anita ma'am to felicitate our guest of honor, Mr. Sanket Wara. Now I request Ms. Nidhi Desai. Now I request Ms. Nidhi Desai to felicitate our very special guest, Dr. Amrish Saxena. Without wasting much time, we will now begin with our seminar. However, before we start with our first session, let me briefly explain the format of the seminar and some ground rules for your convenience and participation. The seminar will comprise of 3 sessions and a valedictory session. Each session will have a presentation by the speakers, followed by a Q&A session. If you have any questions, please raise your hand and wait for the microphone to reach you. We also request you to fill out a feedback form that will be shared with you at the end of the seminar. We hope that you will enjoy the seminar and find it useful and informative. Thank you for your cooperation and attention. Now, I would like to introduce our first speaker for the day, our chief guest, Mr. Saurabh Verma. Mr. Saurabh Verma is a filmmaker and chief executive officer of Content Engineers with 25 years of film entertainment experience, director, writer, and acclaimed marketer. Saurabh Verma has managed multiple exciting roles in the film and entertainment industry. He has marketed or has been a part of 950 plus films in almost all Indian languages. He may perhaps be the only Indian film industry professional who has worked firsthand in the commerce and creative side of films, OTT, theatrical distribution, TV, music video, ad films, marketing and strategy planning. He has directed, written, and doctored several films, including the upcoming web series Tiwari, starring Urmila Matondkar and Mickey Virus. Saurabh's in-depth knowledge and expertise in all aspects of film marketing has also fetched him the prestigious Philip Kotler Award. Saurabh has directed or indirectly worked with almost all studios and production houses that exist in India. His short film, Girl in Red, has garnered 18 million views on YouTube. Mr. Saurabh Verma is presently Chief Creative Officer and Filmmaker for Content Engineers and has previously worked as CMO of Reliance Jio Studios, Inox, Reliance Entertainment, and PVR Cinemas. Sir, it is an honor to have you amongst us. I now request Mr. Saurabh Verma to take over and address the audience.
You answer questions. You have a picture. Shall we go down?
The platform is clear now. So thank you everyone. Thank you for the warm welcome and very happy to see a household show. So I'm Saurabh and I'm one of the most informal person here, I guess. So we'll start with reintroducing myself. I started my career in 1996, 1997 when technology was just going to start, and today the world has changed. But there are a lot of things which have not changed. So I'll just introduce myself and I'll just get over with a lot of things. So I basically started my career by specializing in a profession called book publishing, and at that time print and publication was something which was really one of the hottest topics and things. I started designing things on computer. I don't have any training in computers or graphic designing, but I started working on it and I became a graphic designer, then a publisher, then a book publisher, then a writer. And from that, I started doing things which were uncanny. Like I used to print popcorn bags for a cinema called Priya Cinema, and they had nobody better to hire, so they hired me as a marketing manager in 1997. That's when the first multiplex revolution happened. And from there, if somebody would have come to me, or maybe an astrologer would have come to me and said that, 25 years later, you will be directing films and you'll be doing these things, it would have been very, very difficult for me to, grasp it or, agree to what he's saying, because things just changed drastically. So a few learnings from my experience. One of the biggest learning is that anything is possible. And when I say anything is possible, I give myself as an example. But to do that, when you say anything is possible, the only important tool for that is not education. Yes, education is important. Experience is also important. But that one tool which will take you places is a word called sincerity. You need to have sincerity towards what you do. And the reason I'm using this word, and it's been used and abused a lot of times, but I feel that a lot of times when I see the younger generation, I find that there is a lack of there's a less fire in the belly. So when we look at people, when we audition, when we interview people to hire or even for as an actor for an audition, we don't look at the caliber. Caliber is important, but the most primary thing is that how hungry you are to do that role. So that's the most important thing. And sometimes, a 5-minute audition or a 30-second audition or a 5-minute interview or a 30-second interview does not make you judge a person. So it's like school, or a college, when in your class that who's the one who's the badmash child, you know who's the one who studies a lot and yet denies that he or she doesn't study. So you know everybody in your class. Similarly, in a working environment, you get to know the energy, you get to know the sincerity of people. And as much as you are sincere, as high is what you can go. So sincerity is the biggest tool. The second most important learning which I have learned throughout the years, which I'd like to convey to you is that it's not important that because you're sincere, because you got fire in the belly, you need to do more. Sometimes, and that comes with experience. Sometimes doing less is also very, very important. So, it's like in acting, you don't need to overact. You can always mellow down and, perform better as well. So doing less is also a mantra which, nowadays things are, that's one of the mantras which will help you even beat the AI in the future. So with experience, you need to balance your perspectives. I just like to know how many people are here from Delhi. Okay, you are the Delhi students. And how many are journalists? How many are you pursuing journalism and advertising?
It's a combination of advertising.
Okay, and films, media, entertainment, everybody. And पीछे किसी ने हाथ ही नहीं खड़ा किया. What do you? थोड़ा बताओ please. What do you pursue? Journalism. तो हाथ क्यों नहीं खड़ा किया? अच्छा नहीं पीछे पीछे. हाँ नहीं Delhi is fine. मैं पीछे के लोग बिल्कुल किसी ने जवाब नहीं दिया. So if I want to speak about topics, what is it that's going to excite you the most? Is it films? Is it media? Is it entertainment? Or is it journalism? Or is it advertising? हाँ बोलिए जोर से बोलिए. So I'll start with advertising. See, advertising, the paradigms keep on changing, and the style. It's films and advertising are a very glamorous subjects, and they sound very glamorous when you're on the outside, but when you come inside, it's like any other business. For example, if you compare it to a restaurant business, how does a restaurant work? A restaurant works when you have a good signage, when you have a decent menu card, but most importantly, the food has to be good. Similarly, in whatever you do, the presentation is important, but you need to have depth in what you do. And God is in detail. I think the smallest of the things will make a difference. So, for example, if I have to look at the background here, so, I may find 10 more things to add here, or maybe 20 more things to delete. So when you work on things, your perspective change as what you do. But it's not necessary that today when you're learning journalism, that's the career you're going to pursue. There are a lot of people, I'm sure, which are not conveying right now, but maybe want to become actor, performer, theater artists, singers, or pursue direction or writing and things. But in all of this, the most important thing is that do not shy away from what you want to do. As you're going to grow, as you're going to meet people, as you're going to come out of your shell, come out of your colleges and going to go meet people, there are going to be a lot of people who are going to tell you that, don't do this, don't do that. Ye aapke bas ka nahi hai, ye nahi hai. But if you want to pursue something, don't shy away from saying that. I meet a lot of actors and a lot of people from the industry who come to me and say, sir, I want to do this, I want to do that. But they only come out once, they meet a lot of people and, bahar se jab thukar kha ke aate hain, that's when the energy inside grows inside you, and then you become a little more this thing. What I see right now in you is that, you guys are a little in a protective environment. You're in a very conservative AC cool this thing. But as you're going to go out, you'll have to fight a little more. You'll have to say a little more. So that's something which you need to learn and be very clear in what you want to do. I meet a lot of actors, and I'm using the example of an actor, but that actor can also be, you can also say a person who's coming up for a job, who basically wanted to do something, but the parents guided them to do something. So somebody's become an engineer. Some people did went through IIT, and then they realized, no, this is not what I want to do. What I want to do is acting or writing or filmmaking and things like that. So I meet a lot of people who are 30 years old, 35 years old, and now have come back to pursue their passion in media, entertainment, films, this thing. So there's nothing wrong in doing that. But whatever you're doing now is going to add value in whatever career you're going to be choosing in the later on stages. Whatever this thing is. So even if you're an engineer and you turn and become an actor, your basic grassrooted training happens from being an engineer, and you can implement all those rules and formulas in whatever profession you're going to be choosing from. So in my career, I've marketed films in almost all languages, in spite of the fact that I don't know all those languages. So whether it's English, Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Gujarati, Marathi, Bengali, almost every language I've marketed films. And the basic parameters and formulas remain the same. So who's your audience? And that's another thing which you learn from all these things, is that whenever you choose something and you try to do something, whether it's a graphic designing short-term project, or whether it's a task which you've been given, or your own career, think of the end game. Where do you want to see after the game ends? Where do you want to see 10 years yourself 10 years from now? Is money the motive? Is job satisfaction the motive? Is happiness the motive? So whatever you want to think about the end game before you you work on that. I'll give you an example about films. There are around 1,200 films which release in a year. And this is all languages in India itself. And when I'm saying 1,200 films, these films do not include films which release in OTT or television. These are films which release theatrically in a PVR, INOX, etc., etc. So out of those 1,200 films, if you take out those top 5-7 studios, which is Yash Raj, Dharma, Excel, etc., etc., only 2 to 3% films actually succeed, and rest, most of them do not ever, make money, or most of them are in losses, and that is because most of these things, are pursued by a lot of creative passion, but there is no end game in mind. So there is again, it's a very important thing that whatever you want to pursue, yes, passion is an important thing, but you have to balance it out with your commerce sense as well. So, so one is the design, one is the creativity, and the other aspect is that what is it that it's going to get you in terms of money, in terms of your balancing, in terms of, whatever your career growth is. So when you make films, how do you plan your end game? You plan your end game by thinking that who's the audience I'm catering to. Most of the time, the audience which we generally cater to in India is mainly male skewed, 15 to 35 years of age. When you're looking at cinemas, the primary revenue comes from the Golden Triangle, which is the Bombay, Delhi, and Bangalore triangle. When I say Bombay, Delhi, and Bangalore, it also includes the NCR and the Punjab and the Rajasthan and Maharashtra as whole. But these are the three Golden Triangle where you get the maximum revenue. South has its own separate market. So if you want to make a film like Jawan, or a bigger film where the investment is higher, then your maximum revenue comes from the smaller towns as well. But if you're making a smaller film, then these are three Golden Triangle areas where you focus on. So when I make a film, I keep in mind maybe a person who's studying in a college in a metropolitan like Bombay or a Delhi, and a girl and a boy who's studying in a smaller town college, maybe a Meerut or a UP or somewhere there. So when I have these 4 people in mind, and then I design my projects or write about it, my thought process becomes very easy, and I can have these imaginary people and start thinking that whatever I've written, will it interest them or not? So even in a writing of a film, there's a lot of science involved in it. Though you feel that it's a very creative process and you can write whatever you want to do, but there are acts where you divide the whole story into several acts. There are breaks, there are triggers, there are highs, and there are lows. If you don't put the highs and the lows in the right moment at the right time, then the story goes haywire. And most of the times the films don't work is because your beginning and the end are very, very bad. And I'm not saying in terms of the script, but also in terms of how you started the story and how you ended the story. If you've seen a film like Drishyam 2, the film, and I'm taking a film example because that's the easiest for me. The film is not, extremely exciting. There are not too many action sequences, or there are not too many stylish songs or things like that. But the last 20 minutes of the film is what you remember, because the twist just baffles you and say, oh, I never thought of it like that. So that's the end game. You remember the last bit and you say, okay, all this was happening because the culmination of the film was very, very interesting. Similarly, when you see these sports films or boxing films or a film like Rocky, what works for you is that there is a person who's an underdog who's fighting through thick and thin, and eventually that the person is winning, but the journey makes you connect with that character, and in the end when he wins, that's what you remember, and you go home, you feel good about it, and the film becomes a classic and a cult classic. In terms of storytelling, again, there are a lot of myths in writing a story, whether it's for journalism, whether it's for advertising, whether it's for your own films or OTT. Story is not what you write on paper. Story, what you write on paper, is only one part of it. The other part is the execution part. So even event managers, they make very nice, fancy PPTs. They come up with a plan. I can just talk about, marketing plan where you can set up 100 feet hoarding on a moon and, people will talk about it. But who's going to go to the moon and put that hoarding? So execution is the key for a lot of stuff. So again, execution becomes the end game where a lot of things happen when you start working on the execution part. So as you're going to be working on things, you have to balance the strategy or the thought, put it on paper, and make sure that it's executed in the right manner. So similarly, when you write a story, the story is fine, but how will you shoot it? And when you write a perfect story, even then it can go really, really wrong, because when you go to shoot the film, you realize that you've thought of a certain environment, but that environment has changed. You thought of a character who's going to be sweating, but it's chilly outside. You thought of a character who's going to be sitting in the sunlight, but there's no sun outside. Or you're in a hurry to, wrap up the shoot because there are a lot of chaos and things like that. So the circumstances change. So the biggest learning which I have during shoot is that your processing time, and just like your laptop has to be faster so that you can work faster, your mind has to learn to process faster. And crisis will come in every field. So, in every area. So how do you tackle the crisis? One is that, you palpitate, you decide, oh shucks, ab kya karoon? Arey main teacher ke paas jaun? Oh, should I take help? The second is you start processing that what is it that's going to work, and what could be the nearest solution. There is a possibility you may fail, but that failure also is a learning cost. You learn from the failures as well. So the moment you start processing your mind and start looking for a solution, your experience in the matter will grow. And most of the filmmakers, their processing time in shooting is very, very fast. Sometimes, it also happens that, and let me tell you a very interesting thing about stories is that, we watch a lot of English and Hollywood films, and then we say, okay, this is a very nice Hollywood film. Let me start working and, make a film similar to that in Hindi. But the language in English and the language in Hindi is completely different, because when a character in English says that someday I'm going to come and kill you, it sounds very, very classy and interesting and very, stylish. But the moment you say that in Hindi, ki ek din main aaunga aur tujhe jaan se maar dunga, the animation of the language and things like that makes it a little more melodramatic, and it just doesn't work. So your mastering of the language is extremely important in how you're going to be tackling your subject. So, so you may think of a great Hollywood film, but when you think of adapting it or a similar subject in Hindi, the whole texture changes. It's like a milk is milk till it changes into curd. So when you adapt things, that's extremely important in how you're going to be working on things. So even in a story, you have to divide it into several parts. One is the idea, the beginning point, the midpoint, and the most important thing for me when I write a story is the third act. That's the act where the protagonist kind of goes through a journey. You sold his character, he's become relatable. But the third act is almost before the climax, where the character loses everything and you realize that maybe he's going to lose, maybe the antagonist is going to win, maybe the villain is going to take over, and how the hero rises against all odds is what happens after the third act. So the midpoint, the beginning, the midpoint, the third act, and the climax, you've decided about it. But after that, you have to think and create a beat sheet. And a beat sheet is basically in numbers where you jot down all the scenes of the film. The third stage is that you write a screenplay out of it. And screenplay is nothing but, description of each and every scene. What is it? Is it interior? Is it what? Is it exterior? Is it day? Is it night? Is it a room? Is it a open area? And if it's an open area, describe the open area. And you are gods at that time because you're writing scripts. So you have to define it. And then the most difficult part comes when you write dialogues. And dialogues is where it becomes a little more messier, because when you're writing on your own, all the characters sound the same. So how do you make the characters sound different and things like that? And once you write everything, you realize that you just done 10% of the job, because rewriting, reading the drafts again and correcting it is the most tedious process in writing. And that's where most of the filmmakers and writers shy away. And they think they've done the best. But when you revisit your homework and revisit your that whatever you shot, there's still a lot you could have done at that point of time. But the energy of that moment made you think that this is the direction you will take. But had you taken an angle from this side, had you done this, the editing would have been a little more better. Say something aggressively and says, why don't we sit down and talk? And we cut to they both sitting and talking. And when you go into the edit, maybe the whole walking, barging in, can we talk, that whole edit goes away, and you just start with keeping a cup down and two people talking. So you have to think of editing in all aspects of storytelling. And when I'm saying storytelling, the editing part is important even in journalism, even in advertising, because today in advertising, the print media or the graphic design is not as important as video, the way you tell stories with video. So my suggestion to all you guys is that get a basic training in editing, and you don't need to join any courses. If you can, great. If you don't, then you can even learn it from a YouTube. You've got your laptops, you've got your systems. Start working on editing, the basic sense of editing. And obviously you can start editing from Instagram itself. But when you use a professional software, you learn a little more. Now, what is editing? I mean, a lot of people think that editing is very simple, cutting of scenes and placing the right scenes at the right place. But one of the most important tool in editing is sound. How you play with sound is what changes your edit pattern. And if you guys are interested in editing, I think there is a director called Edgar Wright, and there's a lot of learnings of his style of edit, and that's all available on YouTube. Please do see it. The way he tells a story, it's a little unconventional, but it just makes it more interesting to tell a story. So after editing comes the sound part. In sound, there are two divisions. One is the sound effects. So, which is sometimes a lot more abused in our television series, where a person is twisting her neck 2 or 3 times, and every time she turns there's a dang 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 sound. But the sound effects is what creates the energy in a scene, and the background score is what adds the emotion to the scene, or the thrill to the scene. Like for example, the recent Jawan, maybe the songs have not worked that much, but the background score brings in an adrenaline kind of a effect to the whole thing, and adds value to the thing. But one thing I learned from the music and background score is that, again, it's not about filling the whole narrative with sound. It's about doing less as well. The moment you have silences in your story, and then build it with the music, the silence adds value to the music which is going to follow. So doing less is extremely important. And most of the best filmmakers use silence as a tool as well. So just because you paid a background score guy doesn't mean he needs to fill in all the 2 hours of your content with music. So you have to, and if possible, design your music when you write. So from plan A, you have to think of plan Z as well. After you do all that, the storytelling still doesn't stop. When you create content, how you market it, how you place it in front of people is extremely important as well. Now, what is marketing of films? A lot of people think that putting up hoardings, or doing digital marketing, or putting up street posters, or creating campaigns is what marketing is. But marketing is also divided into 2 parts, and you can't do marketing without creativity. So when I talk about film marketing, the most important tool is not how much hoardings you put outside all across the place. It's about the right poster. It's about the right promo you cut. It's about the right title which attracts the audience. And fourthly, it's about the right kind of music you add to the whole promo or your teasers or your video and the video communication. So these four tools, which is the poster, the promo, and the music, as well as the title of the film. These four are the things which attract an audience to watch the film. For example, when you go to a Netflix or an OTT platform and you don't know the film, but you'll see the poster and that may excite you, or that may interest you to click that thumbnail, or maybe just the title. And if the title says action and there is a man with a gun, you will realize it's an action film and this is the genre I want to watch. Or there's a couple who's on the poster and it says, maybe a simple thing like the couple, but it's a rom-com, it's about a couple, and that may interest you to go inside and watch it. The colors you put in the posters or the thumbnails, the kind of promo, the one-liners which work in a promo, all those things are extremely important. And again, in marketing as well, it's about doing less as well, because if you cut a promo beyond 120 seconds, people are just not interested. So ideally, it should be 90 seconds to 120 seconds. Unfortunately, promos don't get cut in 90 seconds because you have to, basically tell a story and then get into the slickness of the whole narrative. So 90 seconds to 120 seconds is what works. From my perspective, as the world is going to go further, the duration of the promos are always going to come down, because that's what's happening in the Instas and the Reels and the stories as well. So how well you tell a story in the minimal time is something you need to master in whatever profession you intend to work upon. So that's about it. And then comes the other part, which is budgeting, the execution, the ground level events, the radio promotions, hoardings and things like that. And even in those part, which is the media planning, you have to be very sure that which is your primary tool of communication and which is your reminder media. In my mind, when you put hoardings on streets, that's a reminder medium. When you see a hoarding of film, it reminds you, oh, this film is releasing, let me plan to watch that film or not watch that film. Or when you see a poster on a street, or when you hear a jingle on a radio, these are all reminder mediums. But the primary medium is something which every audience has a different take on. But sometimes when you see television ads, when you're watching cricket and you see an ad, the impact of that is a little more better. When you see a newspaper and you see an ad, now newspapers have changed into digital marketing. But when you advertise on it, that becomes your primary medium of communication. In today's world, I think digital marketing is also being abused a lot. For example, if you buy a shoe on Amazon, all you see is shoes for the next 2 months, because they keep on targeting you, they keep on showing you different kind of shoes and things like that. And I just feel that if you already bought a shoe, then why is the digital marketing enabling me to watch more options of shoes? Maybe it helps, maybe it doesn't. But they can always see a pattern of a person and understand what could be his preference in buying a product, and they can always diversify. That, I think, with the growing AI is going to change. The other important thing is that a lot of people are scared of what AI is going to do. Like, oldies like me who say that, AI is going to change the world, it's going to cut the jobs. But in my mind, never get afraid of technology, because technology could be your friend and it could be a terminator as well. But as much as you take it as your friend, it will only help you. So embrace the technology, learn what is happening in the thing. Things change so drastically because consumer habits change almost every 6 months. So what works for me today, and I may be the master of the game today, but the consumer habits change so fast that if I stop learning, then I'll be an obsolete person in the next 6 months. So whether it's chat GPT, whether things like that, they will always need to be, I think they'll be dependent on the human interaction as well. So they may be able to come out with a great painting or a great artwork, but what comes out of your own hand, what you create, will always have more value. So embrace that technology, try to understand that. When I started in my career, I didn't know what I had to do. I never in my dreams thought that I'll become a film director or a content creator. So I became a jack of all trades, master of none. I learned everything from all aspects, whether it's writing a script myself, learning the final draft software, or doctoring other people's scripts, or marketing of films, or advertising films, media planning, and then coming on in front of the camera. In 2011, I started making my first film called Mickey Virus, and before I did that, I was in a very high-paying job. I was the CMO for Reliance, a very comfortable environment where people used to call my executive assistant and take appointments. Sometimes they used to wait for half an hour, 1 hour just to meet me. And that's when I said, okay, this life is very, very comfortable, but you only live once. So why don't I try making films? So I was a good marketer, but when I started pursuing to make films, uh, everybody put me down. Everybody said, please don't try making films because you lose what you have right now, and you may not be able to make it. So what I did was that I decided that I'm not going to pursue it. But then, people who advised me, I realized that for years they've been doing what they've been doing. So is it that I want to be like them? And there's nothing wrong in being consistent, but I thought that, okay, let me give it a shot. And I left my high-paying job, and all those people who were waiting to meet me, or who used to pick up my call in one ring, suddenly stopped answering my calls. And there was a completely drastic change in the environment, and the way people treated me. So I still kept on struggling. I went to everybody saying that, hey, I got this story. Why don't you, produce it for me? But they said, what experience do you have? And I said, I have experience in releasing a film, marketing a film, but yes, I don't have experience in directing. It took me 3 years to struggle, and I almost went to everybody. And so in 3 years, if you calculate some 300 days, I'm just taking a round figure. So 900 days, I've gone to maybe 5,000 people who said no to me, saying that, okay, you can't direct a film. Finally, one day somebody called and said that, hey, my boss is coming from Dubai, and he wants a meeting at 9 a.m. and I have nobody better to put. So why don't you come and narrate your story? So I said, yeah, I'll come at 9 a.m. And the person said that even if you come and narrate the story, we don't have the bandwidth because we already committed to other projects. So we are not going to say yes to your project. You just have to come and just impress the boss. But I'm not offering you anything. And I said, okay, now that you said that, the pressure is gone off my head, and I still went at 9 a.m. and I narrated the story. And the meeting went on till 5 p.m. in the evening. And around 4 p.m., the producer said, we are going to produce your film. But I had already got a warning that the producer is not going to produce my film. So what I used to do was, I used to go every day to that office, even if required or not required. I kept on going for 3 weeks. I started showing my marketing skills, things like that. And eventually the film happened, and those are the people who funded my film. And I ended up making a film. So even though I was not capable, I didn't even know how to do a short breakdown. Even though I had no training in filmmaking, I ended up making a film called Mickey Virus in 2013 because I kept on pursuing the fire in the belly. And the one thing which I asked my producers, that why did they give me, why did they invest around 10 crores in my film, which is 5 crores in the film and 5 crores in the marketing, is because people don't invest in your ideas, people don't invest in your thoughts, people don't read your scripts or your thing, they invest on you. So what is it that they see in you, and why would they invest money on you or give time to you or give you a job? That is because they'll see your sincerity, they'll see the hunger within you, they'll see the pursuits. Out of the 100 people you're meeting, and if you know those fairy tales, I believe in the philosophy that you have to kiss the 99 frogs to meet that 100 person who turns out to be the Prince Charming. So you will get those 99 rejections, and be prepared for it. A lot of people, when somebody puts you down, they start believing that they are not worth it. But I think everybody is equal. And there's one policy which I had at that time was that, maybe I'm not as intelligent as others, but I can work harder than others. So if I'm not as intelligent, so let me, compensate it by giving extra hours. So that's how I started working on it. And today, most of my colleagues who maybe were more intelligent and more capable than me are still doing what they're doing. And I just went ahead and did something else which I'm happy about. So that's my journey. And but before we end, I'd like to have some Q&A if somebody would like to ask any question. And yeah, please. You can sit down only and speak. They don't want you to speak.
You can speak like that. It is audible.
Hello.
You can introduce yourself first.
Hello, sir. My name is Shaurya Mishra. I'm pursuing BMM from this university, I guess.
No, I guess.
Autonomous. So, I work with, I'm TV serial artist. I work with Camps Club and some production houses. Since 2016, I have done 150 plus shows, crime thriller episodes of
As what?
Crime Patrol.
No, as what?
As a lead artist, negative lead artist.
Okay.
I never done a positive character because they said your faces look like a criminal. So
Your face doesn't look like it actually. Yeah.
they told me. So I want to ask you how to improve our acting. Like if a for a particular character.
So in my mind, and it's a very confusing one because everybody has their own process. Nobody's going to teach you. So your biggest teacher, and that teacher is in everybody's hand, is the phone. So when you learn, I mean, I learned a lot from YouTube. So learn what others are doing. Second is that you observe your own recordings or edits and things like that. If possible, sit with your editor and ask them what they do. In my mind, where the actors make a lot of mistakes is that when you go for an audition for your film or anything, sometimes you get clouded by the judgment. Arey, mujhe to character nahi pata. Arey, mujhe to ye nahi pata. But they're not looking at you, your ability to understand my script. I mean, obviously you don't know the script. So what do? You have to interpret the character the way you want to do it. And the first 10 seconds of your 5-minute audition is going to make a difference. So don't assume that, in a 5-minute audition, they are going to go till the fourth minute and then they'll say, oh, now I see this guy performing. So the first 10-20 seconds is when they're going to see your energy. And if they like it, only then they're going to pursue and watch it further. Otherwise, most of the auditions, they shut it off in 20 seconds. It's like a YouTube video. Why do trailers have that donut today? They tell you a little bit about the film in 3 seconds and then the trailer starts. So the beginning is extremely important. Don't put them off in the first 20 seconds. Secondly, again, like I said, do less when you perform. You don't need to move your head a lot. A lot of people have this habit of speaking like this or this thing, and it looks very odd on camera. Especially when today, when the screens are getting smaller, the more you move your hands, the more you move your head, the more irritating it becomes. I'm using an extreme word, irritating, but it becomes old school. I mean, earlier there used to be times when you used to take a gun and point at it. When you got a gun pointed at a character, you don't need to say that. So, today's world is a Pankaj Tripathi style of acting. You don't even need to say things, but just your performance changes it. So do less and learn, keep on learning. And whatever you learn, don't think you have mastered it because you have to keep on improving all your life.
Thank you, sir.
दिल्ली वालों ने कुछ नहीं पूछा तो बहुत मारूंगा. You can say that.
No, it feels disrespectful. So I'm Priyanshu and I'm a. This one.
अच्छा start करो. कोई बात नहीं, जोर से बोलो.
Hello, sir. I'm Priyanshu and I'm studying mass media third year in this college. So I wanted to ask about, as I'm interested in the music, so what was the career scopes in the music industry regarding the films?
I guess music, and I shoot most of my films in Madhya Pradesh because it's closer to Maharashtra and it's more greener and the weather is a little more friendlier. Plus, it's cheaper. But there's a saying in places like Indore and Bhopal कि अब यहाँ किसी को पत्थर मारोगे तो या तो वो singer बनना चाहता है या वो musician बनना चाहता है. So music is something a lot of people are interested in. But when I'm looking at people I work with in terms of in areas of music and all, I don't have too many choices. So what happens with music is that I would like to work with people, either they have a track record or a body of work, or I'm comfortable with them that this is the guy who matches my wavelength. So my suggestion is, whether you're an actor, whether you're a music guy, whether you're a director or it's anything, if you can start creating your content and start uploading it online and you get an audience, you will automatically get clients to work on it. So, and don't have a preference that this is the only style of music I want to work with. In my mind, too much of Western effect is going away. If you're able to add authentic Indianness to it, the folkness or the desiness to things, that attracts a lot more attention, and that stays for long. The other thing which you need to learn from, understand is that what is it that you want to do in music? Do you want to make and sell music, or do you want to build a legacy? If you want to build a legacy, think of the end game, think of a lot of things, and start uploading it online. I think that's where you'll find the path. And then, once you have an audience, people will automatically start following you. I don't know too much about Spotify, but I guess that also creates your audience. So upload it. If it doesn't get audience, because getting followers, getting the eyeballs is one of the most difficult things in the social media. So if you are able to get that, I think you got your answer.
Thank you, sir.
And don't take paid followers.
Yeah, hi sir, I'm from Delhi. And so मेरा question ये है कि सर जैसे हम script writing करते हैं, so how to start from the scratch and make it like state it with till the complete project.
So what is it that you want to write? Film, series, what?
Films.
So if you want to write, there are some basics. One is that don't go beyond 90 pages. Second is start with a beat sheet of beginning and end, and go with the process, though it's a little boring, and finish your 90 pages as fast as possible. Even if you're writing wrong, even if it's bad grammar, even if it's got, and it doesn't need to be 90 pages because dialogues will go away first. First, you'll just write the screenplay. Just finish your first draft. Your first draft is your worst story. The second and the third and the 10th and the 15th and the 20th time when you're going to revisit your script, that's when you're going to be improving. And once you finish your first draft, whether you're watching a film, whether you're seeing anything on YouTube, or whether you're just observing people, you will get ideas. Start observing those ideas and start implementing them on your script. In my career, I've made some 4-5 films, but I've written more than 100 scripts. So that means around 95 of them will never get made. But the more you write, the better it is. There's a dearth of good writers. So a lot of people say, nahi, writers ko respect nahi milti, cheezein nahi milti. But most of the writers I meet in the industry, they don't have proper grammar in the language. They don't have this thing, and they write very, very filmy. They don't have exposure to the world cinema. So, and plus, if you are from Delhi, or if you're from North, or if you're from a smaller town, if you can bring in that texture, because that's your strength, it will only add value. So, and lastly, every character of yours need to speak a different language. So they can't all speak the way you speak. So you have to start building a character, because sometimes the stories are bad, but the characters are so good that they lift up a story. So what's the genre you want to write on?
Maybe mystery and crime.
So then the end has to be spectacular. I just saw a film called Niyat on Amazon. Has anybody seen it? Now the similar kind of a film just released in Hollywood called Knives Out, and it was a super duper hit. But Niyat, in a similar texture with some phenomenal actors, just doesn't evoke interest. And I think that is because they try to copy the West a lot. Even the background score is very, very Western influenced. They speak English, too much English. They are in an English world and all. What happens is that, no matter how much English we speak on our own, but, when characters are speaking a foreign language on a screen, and they're, wearing overcoats and English dresses, and, you stop, at times you don't relate with those characters. So in my mind, Nian, the biggest flaw was the background score because it was very, I've heard this kind of score so many times. The second was the whole environment, which was not at all relatable. And lastly, the character just didn't catch it. So they based one character on Vijay Mallya or somebody, but I just couldn't relate with the character. So characters is extremely important.
I think this will be the last question. We'll give the stage to the
One last question.
One last question.
Pooja.
I'll ask you. Hello, sir. Myself Isika Shah, and I'm from Delhi Metropolitan Education. So my question to you is: do filmmakers use AI? If yes, then what ethical considerations should filmmakers keep in their mind, like while using AI?
Actually, AI has not come in films because the technology which AI implements is very low resolution. It just doesn't get adapted in films. So I don't think anybody in Hollywood is also using AI. AI is very far away from films as of now. Maybe too for a credit styling or things like Marvel has used some kind of an AI for the credits of that Samuel L. Jackson series and all. But that's very basic. Storytelling is a very personal art. It's like painting. Though there'll be several paintings of AI made in the social media, but what you paint by your own hand is something which is very special. So I guess that's not going to happen for a while, at least in India. यहाँ basic Word, Excel और Final Draft तो सीख लें, उसके बाद AI तक आएंगे.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, my question to you is that as Adipurush was released, after a week it got really criticism. I mean, the critics raised the bar, right? So, what are your reviews for that film?
So I guess everybody has an opinion of every film, and in my mind, people take films very personally, and they start talking about a lot of things like, you know, इन्होंने हमारे भगवान को ये कर दिया. I was just coming from Lokhandwala to your college, and I just saw Balaji wine, and I just thought that, you know, he's put alcohol with the name of the god, and nobody's protesting because so films is a very personal thing. So I guess it's just a film. People relate and start talking as if it's a NASA rocket which has gone wrong and things like that. But I think one of the basic things in Adipurush or most of the films which go wrong is again they have not thought of the audience. They just thought मुझे ये बनाना है, वो बना दूंगा. But audience, what is the audience reaction is something which they don't see. So my also other suggestion is, even if you are in advertising or journalism, there's a documentary called Movies That Made Us. It's on Netflix. If possible, see it. It's about people who believed in certain stories, but nobody else believed in them. The studio said, you know, shut this film. It's not going to work. And they turned out to be the biggest blockbusters of Hollywood. So the documentary is called Movies That Made Us. Do watch it if possible.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
So my name is Anivesh and I'm from Delhi. Sir, my question is, do you have any type for video editors?
Video
Editors that edit
Editors.
films and all. What's the future of the editors?
I think editors have a lot of future. In my mind, anything which is हाथ का हुनर, मतलब जो तुम्हारे हाथ का हुनर है, like graphic designer is, I mean earlier a locksmith or a blacksmith, or you know, these are the people who used to all never have a dearth of work because it was a talent, and editing is also a talent, and it is an acquired talent. You're not born with editing skills. The more you get into it, the better it happens. So editing is an extremely interesting profession. In fact, like I said, everybody needs to learn the basics of editing, because no matter whatever profession you get into, if you know editing, it will help you a lot, because the whole world is now telling stories through video. So learn that, and there's an immense future. So if you ask me whether I want to do VFX or whether I want to do editing or whether I want to do acting or music, editing is the most interesting.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
All right, I think we are enough with questions. You're falling short. I know it's very.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving an overview into the advertising and film industry. Now we call on to our next speaker, Mr. Sanket Warak. I request sir to please come on the dais. Mr. Sanket Warak is a journalist and assistant producer. Of ABV Maza, digital producing feed-based videos on YouTube and other websites and keeping a track on YouTube activities. He launched a startup called Loud and Clear, which talks about political journals, reports, and public relations. He's also a caricature artist for Mumbai University. He has worked as a researcher for Balasaheb Thackeray National Memorial. He was a PR associate at Every Media Digital Technologies, and he also has his own social media news portal called Noteworthy. I request Mr. Sanket Warak to lead the audience into an insightful session.
Ambarish sir, Deepak sir, faculty members, and of course all my dear friends. My name is Sanket Warak, and I belong to the industry which is hated the most. News. Unfortunately, it is hated the most. यहाँ किसे किसे जर्नलिज्म करना है. Last. It is very much harsh, but if you think journalism करके देश बदलना है, समाज बदलना है, अभी मत कर लो, regret करोगे. Because we have the history of journalism of last maybe 100, 150, 200 years in India. देश है वैसा ही है, सोसाइटी वैसी है, जर्नलिज्म बदल गया. Eventually, I usually Ashish, your professor Ashish, he called me later. Vidhi ma'am called me. आजा. पहले नहीं बोलने वाला था. आशीष बोला कि नहीं आजा. क्या करूँ आगे? नहीं कुछ तो बोल. I avoid going to such seminars because the problem is I belong to the industry, so I am expected to talk about journalism. The problem is बोलूँ क्या? Of course, the topic today is transformations in media. How many of you guys think media today is biased? बोल दो जो है दिल में. How many of you guys think media today it has थोड़ा बहुत political influence? ठीक है. Not sold. Actually, I'll tell the facts. How many of you guys think content on media? And I know I am only talking about either the digital platforms of news organizations or the television, electronic. Print छोड़ दो, print का अपना मस्त चल रहा है. Print का कोई problem नहीं है. How many of you guys think content on television it is too political?
Television, yeah.
Okay. Basically, when news started in India, journalism, primary motive back then was it was pre-independence era to influence people to rebel against the Britishers. Okay, good motive.
Yeah.
Social motive. ठीक है? Now imagine in India's independence, journalism played a vital role. ठीक है? सब कुछ ठीक था. Even post independence, journalism was blunt. It was so blunt that during 1975, when Indira Gandhi government imposed emergency, the primary target was प्राइमरी टारगेट हिस्ट्री किया होगा ना, फर्स्ट ईयर बीएमएम में था, मेरे टाइम तो था हिस्ट्री, अभी नहीं है, सिलेबस अपडेट हो गए. The first target was press. सब बंद कर दिया था, ठीक है, which means media was powerful. Media was anti-governance. Eventually what happened? Rajiv Gandhi died, ठीक है, PV Narasimha took over. India was in financial crisis. This was, I guess, 1991, 1992, when LPG came in, liberalization, privatization, globalization. 92, right? 92. India was in financial crisis. Then finance minister, Mr. Manmohan Singh, he introduced this policy, and India went global. पहले बहुत restrictions थे, so foreign investments India में they were too less. Post 1992 what happened? सब gates open हो गए, FDIs came in, foreign investments came in, बहुत पैसा आ गया, IT sector boost, automobile boost, media industry shoot. जहाँ एक दो channels थे late 90s and early 2000s, ऐसे multiple channels, national television channels, national news channels शुरू हो गए. Of course competition बढ़ गया, ठीक है. And firstly, journalism, it has its own journey. It started with a mission. Then the second stage was it became profession, and now we are into the third stage, which is sensation. Post globalization, we changed from mission to profession. क्योंकि TRP गेम आ गया ना. Maharashtrians, old school Maharashtrians, ये अभी जेनजी नहीं. I remember in 2003, 4, 5, we had two television channels, GEC, ठीक है, General Entertainment, Z Marathi, which was Alpha, and the other one was ETV Marathi, ETV, which is ETV Bharat today in Ramoji Film City. सुबह शाम वहाँ पे soap operas daily वही चलता है. Every day 7 PM and 9 PM half an hour या 1 घंटे का कुछ बुलेटिन चलता था. That was the news for Maharashtrian audience in Marathi. ठीक है, दूरदर्शन तो था बट वो जाने दो. पोस्ट लिबरलाइजेशन पैसा आ गया, स्टार वार सब आ गया था, रूपर्ट मर्डॉक. In 2007, we had two dedicated Marathi news channels. Z24 तास from the Z Group, Star Maaza from the Star Talk. ठीक है, एक साल में दो. Next year was 2008. We had two more channels. News 18. Today it is News 18. Back then it was IBN Lokmat from the CNN group, and the other one was from the Sakal group from Pune. It was Sam TV. कंपटीशन बढ़ गया, ठीक है, सेंसेशन नहीं था, ठीक है. रिमेंबर द टर्म्स, कंपटीशन बढ़ गया, देयर वाज नो सेंसेशन. इट वाज ऑल अबाउट टीआरपी गेम, दैट्स इट, ठीक है, सब नॉर्मल था. इवेंचुअली व्हाट हैपेंड? द फर्स्ट ट्रांजिशन फॉर मीडिया इंडस्ट्री वाज, एज आई टोल्ड, 1992 ग्लोबलाइजेशन. The second transition for media industry was in 2013, 13 or 14. 13 or 14 में क्या हुआ था? 13-14 में क्या हुआ था? Government changed, ठीक है. We are talking about transformations in media, with respect to social media. I opened my Facebook account it was 31st December 2010. I was in, I guess, 10th or 9th standard. Till 2013 November, in India, Facebook, Orkut तो खत्म हो गया था. Facebook was a medium to meet people virtually, greet them, हालचाल पूछो, photos upload करो, casual talks, and let it go. ठीक है? Interactive platform, fun oriented platform, casual talks. मीम्स कभी आया? बहुत इंस्टाग्राम पे रील्स शेयर करते हो ना, पहले 3, पहले 4, पहले 5, मीम्स कभी आया पता है? मीम्स
Lockdown.
2016.
20
16.
memes played a major role in changing the Indian government in 2014. आप शायद से तभी स्कूल में थे, है ना? मेरे पास फोन था. तो it was November. Prime Minister Narendra Modi started campaigns from June. In November, BJP started campaigning against Congress Progress against, ऐसा कुछ कैंपेन चला था उन्होंने. तो राहुल गांधी का पप्पू अगर किसी ने किया ना, तो it was memes. BJP campaign, ठीक है? So memes played important role in changing the government. कितना भी ना बोलो कोई ये मीम से कैसे गवर्नमेंट बदल दिया है, बदल गई ना, सेंटीमेंट चेंज हो गया. Now your social media came in. क्यों हुआ? memes आए, so you have followers. अभी for example pro BJP मीम है तो who will oppose? कांग्रेस वाला अपोज करेगा, कांग्रेस के अगेंस्ट है तो बीजेपी वाला अपोज करेगा. Till 2013, social media was a platform just to interact with your friends. Post 2013, it became a platform to debate, to put your opinions, your political opinions. वरना 2013 के पहले political opinions कोई randomly पूछता भी नहीं था. सब में वो फायर था कि नहीं, जिनको घर पे कोई पूछता नहीं था, जिनको दोस्त नहीं पूछते थे, they started giving their opinions on social media. ठीक है? So there was a fire. So politically social media grow हो गया. ठीक है? Today if you go on Facebook, Instagram पे तो as of now नहीं है. If you go on Facebook, if you go on Twitter, every third post it is political. Every third or fourth post is political. It started from 2013. Let's talk about Maharashtra. अभी क्या हुआ? 13 तक पॉलिटिकल इंटरेस्ट किसी को, मुझे भी इतना नहीं था, ठीक है चल रहा है पॉलिटिक्स, इट इज फाइन. Everyone moved towards politics. Why? At least in Maharashtra. Government changed, ठीक है, वहां पे पीएम मोदी आ गए, यहाँ पे शिवसेना बीजेपी का डाइवोर्स हो गया, ठीक है. उसके बाद शिवसेना अपोजिशन में जाके बैठा फॉर 2 months, उसके बाद फिर पैचअप कर लिया, ठीक है. People had to express, so they started posting. ये सिनेरियो ध्यान में आ गया कि ये कैसा चला, सोशल मीडिया कैसे अंदर आ गया, ठीक है. इन न्यूज अभी लेट्स टॉक अबाउट कंटेंट, ठीक है. कंटेंट इज टू पॉलिटिकल, राइट? वी डिस्कस्ड. आपने बोला ना कंटेंट ऑन टेलीविजन चैनल्स आर टू पॉलिटिकल. See, it is all about TRP for news channels. Suppose I'll give a situation now. There are 3 breaking news coming in. We are into the state of Maharashtra. Suppose we are running a regional channel. First is floods in Mumbai. Second is suppose earthquake in Delhi. And third, suppose Ajit Pawar rebelled against his uncle Sharad Pawar and ran away with Devendra Fadnavis. According to you, which news should get the leverage? First, second, third. Well, first should be floods. Why? Mumbai regional. Second, Delhi earthquake. Because life matters.
Yeah.
Third should be Ajit Pawar running away with Devendra Fadnavis. But यहाँ पर उल्टा हो गया.
Yeah.
वो पहले तो रह गए, मतलब in news media we have a format now. Top 50, top 100, fast news.
Yes.
जितना मतलब the duration of one single news in top 50s is maximum 20 seconds. और वो देखना कभी जाके सारे important news जो रहता है ना, जो लोगों के लिए होता है, वो सब उसमें चले जाता है.
Yes.
And prime time debates, they come in, they talk about politics. It is simple. नहीं, मीडिया में पॉलिटिकल बहुत चलता है. But remember, any sector, be it IT sector, be it film, be it automobile, we always provide what you want. आपको जो चाहिए ना वही देते हैं. न्यूज चैनल ऐसे नहीं पॉलिटिक्स चला था. दे हैव अ रिसर्च टीम. सेल्स वाले बैठे रहते हैं वहां पे कि क्या चल रहा है, कहाँ पे ज्यादा टीआरपी है. लोगों को नहीं देखना है, मतलब दिस इज वेरी हार्श, बट लोगों को नहीं देखना है. फ्लड्स आ रहे, इट इज फाइन, उनको आदत हो गई है. लोगों को नहीं देखना है कहाँ पे अर्थक्वेक आया है, नॉर्मल है, वो आते रहता है. लोगों को देखना है पॉलिटिकली क्या हो रहा है, बिकॉज पॉलिटिक्स टुडे पोस्ट 2014 पॉलिटिक्स बहुत ज्यादा एंटरटेनिंग हो चुका है. इसके पहले नहीं था वो. मतलब एक क्राइम थ्रिलर देखो फिल्म और न्यूज चैनल लगाओ, दिस इज मोर थ्रिलर. मतलब अभी भी इन महाराष्ट्र 2024 में शरद पवार क्या करने वाला है ये किसी को नहीं पता. हेंस मीडिया, न्यूज मीडिया टुडे दे फोकस ऑन पॉलिटिक्स, क्योंकि खपत ज्यादा होती है ना. अर्थक्वेक तो देखोगे नहीं, ठीक है. सो कंटेंट कंज्यूमर को जो चाहिए वही दे रहे हैं. सो स्टॉप टेलिंग मीडिया कि तुम पॉलिटिक्स दिखाते हो, तुम देखते हो इसलिए दिखाते हो. गॉट इट. पोस्ट अगेन 2014 इट वाज अ ट्रांजिशन पीरियड. सोशल मीडिया एक्टिवेट हो गया. पहले जो टेक्स्ट फॉर्मेट में होता था, टेक्स्ट फॉर्मेट, मोदी इज सो एंड सो, राहुल गांधी इज सो एंड सो. Later, we are recording it.
It's live.
It's like
मैं हीरोपंती के चक्कर में जॉब में चले जाए. सोशल मीडिया came in, ठीक है. Back in 2014, from text, people started making videos. सोशल मीडिया का फर्स्ट ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन. People started making videos. We made our first short film back in 2014, even before AIB came in. AIB पता है ना? AIB came in.
Yes.
People started expressing. लोगों को पता चल गया था न्यूज चैनल पर कुछ नहीं होने वाला है. So some of the students from my college, we all started making videos, making short films. ऐसा walkthroughs करते थे. अच्छा खासा ट्रैक्शन मिला. तब पता चला कि ये चेंज होने वाला है. इट वॉज इन 2014. नाउ टेल मी वन थिंग, डू यू थिंक डिजिटल इज फ्यूचर फॉर न्यूज? डू यू थिंक डिजिटल इज फ्यूचर फॉर न्यूज? रेज योर हैंड्स. डिजिटल इज फ्यूचर फॉर न्यूज? इट इज नॉट, because it is present. 10 साल पहले इट वॉज फ्यूचर, अभी इट इज प्रेजेंट. वी आर इनटू डिजिटलाइजेशन ऑफ न्यूज. ना द प्रॉब्लम्स आर, सी एआई एंकर्स देखे, एआई एंकर्स देखे ना? डू यू थिंक एआई एंकर्स को फ्यूचर है? क्यों? एज सर सेड, वो ह्यूमन टच होना चाहिए हर चीज को. मुझे नहीं पता, मतलब वो सामने से खड़े रहेगी एंड जस्ट कॉमास भी पता नहीं, फुल स्टॉप भी पता नहीं और शुरू. व्हेन आई वॉच्ड एआई एंकर फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम, लेकिन नहीं, ये फ्यूचर नहीं है. ठीक है, मतलब और 10 ट्रांसफॉर्मेशंस आए. चैट जीपीटी आ जाए. चैट जीपीटी मैक्स टू मैक्स कैन राइट योर स्क्रिप्ट. ठीक है, मैक्स टू मैक्स कैन राइट योर स्क्रिप्ट. चैट जीपीटी को ये नहीं पता कि वहां पर अगर लैंडस्लाइड हुआ है ना, तो वहां पर फीलिंग क्या है. चैट जीपीटी इज नॉट स्टैंडिंग एट द साइट, इट इज अ XYZ वेबसाइट. वहां पर खड़े होके बात करना अलग हो जाता है. सो ठीक है, एआई को फ्यूचर होगा, बट 20-25 years है उसको. इट हैज टू डेवलप अ लॉट. जर्नलिज्म, इट इज ऑल अबाउट इन पर्सन फीलिंग, नोटिंग इट डाउन एंड प्रेजेंटिंग इट टू द पीपल. अभी न्यूज चैनल्स को छोड़ दो. अभी कैसे होता है, लेट्स टॉक अबाउट सोशल मीडिया. सोशल मीडिया इज टू पावरफुल. ध्रुव राठी So I don't support him, I don't follow him as well. ठीक है, पहले करता था. Do you feel he is biased? Do you feel he is biased? But it is fine. He is doing good. Is he doing good? Sorted है उसका. Who are the viewers? Us. Even if we hate him, we see. That is social media. Social media. Suppose you television channel लगा दिया, तो चल रहा है. ठीक है, चल रहा है. सोशल मीडिया पे यू हैव द ऑप्शन. ये थंबनेल देखा मैंने, ये ओपन कर लिया, ये थंबनेल देखा, ये ओपन कर लिया. गॉट इट? इवन इफ यू हेट ध्रुव राठी, यू गो एंड ओपन हिज वीडियोस. क्यों? तुम्हें पता है नॉलेज मिलने वाला है. व्हाटसोएवर द पर्सपेक्टिव इज, डजंट मैटर, नॉलेज मिलने वाला है. Eventually, back in 2014-15, when I started making videos on YouTube, or till 2019 actually. इसलिए ये सोशल मीडिया, ये तो सोशल मीडिया में ट्रांसफॉर्म हो गया न्यूज मीडिया. सोशल मीडिया में अलग ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन है. देयर वर स्केच वीडियोस. एक स्केच वीडियोस का कॉन्सेप्ट था. ठीक है, दैट वाज एंटरटेनिंग. सिमिलरली एक्सप्लेनर वीडियोस का कॉन्सेप्ट था जो ध्रुव राठी करता है, व्हिच इज अगेन 4 to 5 minutes का एक्सप्लेनर वीडियो वेयर आई explain XYZ situation. ठीक है, और XYZ controversy, XYZ law, XYZ policy, XYZ political happening. Eventually what has happened, we as audience, we are becoming impatient. सच बताना, 7 मिनट का वीडियो पूरा कौन देखता है? पूरा देखता है 7 मिनट. रेशियो 4 लोगों के लिए तो 7 मिनट का वीडियो बनाऊंगा नहीं मैं. उसमें प्रोडक्शन होता है, पोस्ट प्रोडक्शन भी होता है ना. पोस्ट प्रोडक्शन होता है, वीडियो बनाना मतलब एडिट करके डालना पड़ता है, टाइम जाता है. सो इवेंचुअली व्हाट हैज हैपेंड इन न्यूज मीडिया, एवरी न्यूज चैनल, एवरी इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मीडिया चैनल, दे हैव देयर डिजिटल प्रेजेंस. ठीक है, वी स्टार्टेड विद स्केच मतलब एक्सप्लेनर वीडियोस. नाउ वी आर इनटू रील्स. ठीक है, इट वाज टू क्विक. मतलब वो एक्सप्लेनर बनाना, उसको एडिट करना, उसकी आदत हो गई, तब तक यहाँ पर स्विच हो गए. यहाँ पर 60 सेकेंड्स का फॉर्मेट आ गया. ठीक है, सो कोरोना वो टाइम पे 60 सेकेंड्स का फॉर्मेट था. वी स्टार्टेड मेकिंग 60 सेकेंड वीडियोस. जो भी आज का पॉलिटिकल हैपनिंग है, वी हैव टू नरेट दैट इन 55 सेकेंड्स. लास्ट में बम्पर लगेगा न्यूज चैनल का, वीडियो चले जाएगा. Eventually what happened, we started writing scripts for 60 seconds, 55 seconds. That was difficult. 7 मिनट से डायरेक्ट 55 seconds पे आना ट्रांजिशन है ना. It was very much difficult. We did it. Instagram अपडेट हो गया 60 seconds से 90 seconds. 90 seconds. अब वो 55 seconds की स्क्रिप्ट 85 करने को बहुत तकलीफ हो रही थी. इसे 85 कैसे करें? So वो 85 भी हो गई. अभी you will see most of the news channels for their digital presence, they don't do explainer videos. Rarely weekly आया तो आया. They do what? They do reels. Either कोई बंदा आके सामने खड़े होके बोलता है, या फिर they do graphical reels. Again, on YouTube reels को monetization नहीं है. Money is 0. Still they do reels. Why? Audience. See, journalism पहले था वो social service, public service. अभी it is a hardcore business, and I am okay with it because if you start an organization, आपके पास 200 employees हैं, you have to give them salaries, right? समाज सेवा करने तो बैठे नहीं. So ये हार्श फैक्ट एक्सेप्ट कर लो. मतलब न्यूज को जितनी गालियां दो, बट दिस इज द फैक्ट. न्यूज ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, एम्प्लॉइज है, सैलरीज देनी है, सब कुछ करना है. व्हेन माय एडिटर, वो ये नहीं पूछेगा मुझे कि कितने लोगों का भला किया तूने आज, कितना नंबर्स लाया आज. करंटली इन मीडिया इंडस्ट्री पैसा भी थोड़ा सा सेकेंडरी हो चुका है. प्राइमरी इज रीच. And in country like India, reach grab करना, it is super difficult. Why? कॉम्पिटिशन नहीं, कॉम्पिटिशन ठीक है.
Diversity.
Diversity. My language, even that matters. My dialect, even that matters. So recently what happened, I'll tell you 3-4 examples. थोड़ा सा आगे पीछे हो गया but ठीक है. We were sitting in office, रील शूट करना है. एंड चैनल का कैसे होता है कि चैनल देखा है ना, ग्राफिक्स होता है, फ्लैश, जूम 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 जूम. वो नहीं देखते लोग अभी सोशल मीडिया पे. उनको कुछ ऐसा काम, कुछ शांत. द विजुअल्स, सी इन मीडिया इंडस्ट्री विजुअल्स बहुत ज्यादा मैटर करता है. व्हाट आर यू शोइंग, बहुत ऐसा कामिंग, बहुत ऐसा सूदिंग चाहिए तो लोग देखते हैं. एडिटिंग शुड बी परफेक्ट. सो चैनल का जो होता है ना वो बहुत ज्यादा पॉपी होता है, तो चैनल के वीडियोस पे व्यूज नहीं आते. सो वी वर सेटिंग कि रील्स करना है, तो वी यूज्ड टू डू रील्स. ऐसा सामने बैठते थे कैमरा के और नरेट करते थे 55 सेकंड्स में जो भी XYZ करना है. तो एक बार रिसेंटली एक ब्रेकिंग न्यूज थी that Raj and Uddhav, they were supposed to meet. कि राज ठाकरे और उद्धव ठाकरे अभी मिलने वाले हैं शायद से. It was a breaking, it has to be a breaking news. ठीक है. तो मैंने बोला कि इनमें से मेरे मैनेजर ने बोला कि रील कर ले एक. ठीक है, मैंने एक स्क्रिप्ट लिख ली, चलो रील कर दे. विकी करके एक एडिटर है मेरा, मैं उसको बोला विकी शूट करते हैं. चल, विकी बोला लोग मैं कैंटीन जाके आता हूँ. विकी कैंटीन गया, आधा घंटा आया नहीं. सो मैं कैंटीन गया. विकी वॉज सिटिंग देयर और उसने मुझे पूछा कि किस पे रील कर रहा है, कि वो राज और उद्धव पे कर रहा हूँ. तो ये सर कि अरे हाँ, ये राज और उद्धव एक साथ आने वाले, सुना क्या मैटर क्या है. ठीक है. तब मुझे क्लिक हुआ कि यही कन्वर्सेशन इफ आई शूट, फॉर्मेट चेंज हो जाएगा, लोग देखेंगे, कुछ अलग देखेंगे. फनी वीडियोस है ये फॉर्मेट में. वी हैव स्केच वीडियोस. ठीक है, रील स्टार्स है, वो नील वील करता है, करण सुनाने वो सब करता है. वी हैव इट. बट न्यूज में इट वुड बी द फर्स्ट टाइम. आई स्पोक टू माय एडिटर, द मैनेजर. ही सेड नहीं. ठीक है, विकी ने बोला नहीं फिर भी कर लेंगे, एडिट करके भेज देते हैं, लेट्स सी. आई हैव द वीडियो, ऑडियो है. फर्स्ट या सेकंड वीडियो कोई होगा तो लेकर. I have acted in it, so मुझे माफ करना. ऑडियो है. हाँ. राज आणि उद्धव भेटणार आहेत. संख्या. Pause. Of course, it is for a Marathi news channel, so it is in Marathi. ठीक है. My name is Sanket. उसने क्या बोला? Why?
To connect. Lingo.
To connect. ठीक है. I chose Wiki because for ABP Maaza, our audience is not Mumbai. ठीक है, वो ऑडियंस है मुंबई हमारा, ये मुंबई का टेंशन नहीं है हमें. ठीक है. Our audience जो मुझे ग्रैब करना है, फिर a major audience is from rural Maharashtra. ठीक है. सो मुझे टैप करना है. हेंस आई चोज विकी बिकॉज ही बिलोंग्स टू सातारा और उसका डायलेक्ट जो है कनेक्ट्स पैन महाराष्ट्र. ठीक है, डायलेक्ट और लैंग्वेज डिस्ट्रिक्ट चेंज होते रहता है, तो यहाँ से बाहर निकलूंगा तो भी चेंज हो जाएगा. बट जो डायलेक्ट है वो पैन महाराष्ट्र था, सो आई चोज विकी. ये एक वर्ड से ही कनेक्टेड द एंटायर ऑडियंस. जितने भी देख रहे थे ना सब रुक गए. ठीक है, प्ले. बाबा हे बघितलंस का, राज आणि उद्धव भेटणार आहेत. या चर्चा रोज असतात, पण ही जरा केस वेगळी आहे. त्यांना पण सांगूया आपण. अच्छा, तर राज ठाकरे आणि उद्धव ठाकरे यांना एकत्र ठेवणारा दुवा कोण? बाळासाहेब ठाकरे. तर ही जी भेट आहे ती कदाचित बाळासाहेब ठाकरे यांच्या स्मारकानिमित्तच होणार आहे. तर मॅटर असं आहे की सुरुवातीच्या काळात म्हणजे 1966 शिवसेनेची स्थापना झाली, त्याच्यानंतर पुढे 15 वर्ष बाळासाहेब भाषण वगैरे करायचं. पण आता कसं रेकॉर्ड होतं, लाईव्ह होतं, पण तसं व्हिडिओ रेकॉर्डिंग वगैरे त्या काळात अवेलेबल नव्हतं. टेक्नॉलॉजी तितकी फास्ट फॉरवर्ड नव्हती, पैसे कदाचित तितके नव्हते. तर अशा बाळासाहेब ठाकरे यांचे बंधू म्हणजे कोण, तर श्रीकांत ठाकरे म्हणजेच कोण, तर राज ठाकरे यांचे वडील हे त्या काळी म्युझिक कंपोजर होते, संगीतकार होते. ओके. आणि त्यांच्याकडे अर्थात तो रेकॉर्डर वगैरे सगळं होता. तर श्रीकांत ठाकरे बाळासाहेबांची सुरुवातीच्या काळातली सगळी भाषणं रेकॉर्ड करायची आणि ती रेकॉर्ड करून ठेवलेली आहे. आता तो साठा कोणाकडे येतात, अर्थात राज ठाकरे भेटतात. आता त्या साठ्याचं त्या भाषणांचं काय करतायत, स्मारकासाठी काय करतायत, याच संदर्भात राज आणि उद्धव ठाकरे भेटणार आहेत. एक गोष्ट आपल्याला इकडे क्लिअरली म्हणते की श्रीकांत ठाकरेंच्या त्या कामामुळे आज अनेक वर्षांनी राज ठाकरे आणि उद्धव ठाकरे हे भेटणार आहेत. कळलं का?
अच्छा असा विषय आहे काय
चाप
ओके चल चल तुला जॉब असतो
ये रील 1.20 seconds का हो गया. I would have easily chopped it. What we did, content, ठीक है? It was only the story was Raj Thackeray is meeting Uddhav Thackeray. He wants to discuss. Basically, I work for the memorial, the Balasaheb Thackeray memorial. So I had a word with Uddhav Thackeray in 2019. That time he told me कि जो बालासाहेब ठाकरे का जो स्टार्ट का जो स्पीचेस है, श्रीकांत ठाकरे used to record it. He was a composer. और वो लेना है बट वो राज के पास है. ठीक है, उसके बाद मैं कुछ बोला नहीं. ऑफ कोर्स राज के पास है. सो इवेंचुअली द स्टोरी वाज अभी फॉर दैट दोज रिकॉर्डिंग्स राज एंड उद्धव आर मीटिंग. इतना बोलता था, खत्म हो जाता था 55 सेकेंड्स में, मैं वाइंड अप कर लेता था. ठीक है, बट व्हाट वी डिड, कंटेंट. वी इन्वॉल्व्ड हूम, श्रीकांत ठाकरे, बालासाहेब ठाकरे ब्रदर. उनका भी एक लाइन में खत्म कर सकता था मैं कि उन्होंने रिकॉर्डिंग किया था. बट एडिशनल इंफॉर्मेशन मैंने ये दी थी कि ही रिकॉर्डेड द स्पीचेस बिकॉज ही हिमसेल्फ वाज अ म्यूजिक कंपोजर. उनके पास रिकॉर्डर था. ठीक है, एंड हु इज श्रीकांत. महाराष्ट्र को पता है हु इज श्रीकांत ठाकरे, बट स्टिल आई सेड श्रीकांत ठाकरे मीन्स राज ठाकरे's father and बालासाहेब ठाकरे's brother. एडिशनल इंफॉर्मेशन हो गया. अगर ये कोई और होता ना, कोई XYZ पॉलिटिशियन, तो मैं इतना सब नहीं देता. बिकॉज महाराष्ट्रियंस आर इंटरेस्टेड अबाउट ठाकरेज, वी चोज टू इंक्रीज द वीडियो लेंथ एंड पुट एवरीथिंग इन द रील. ये रील पे बहुत ज्यादा अट्रैक्शन है एंड वो दिख जाता है. वो इवेंचुअली वी हैव द कहाँ अट्रैक्शन. संख्या पे एक ऐसा ऊपर गया है, पीपल पॉज्ड, पीछे से गए, पीछे से. फिर जो श्रीकांत ठाकरे वाला जो था वहां पर लोग पीछे गए. मेन स्टोरी बाजू में, पीपल वर इंटरेस्टेड इन द अदर पार्ट ऑफ इट. ठीक है, सो या दिस वाज वन ऑफ द रील. एक और है क्या रील, पता नहीं कौन सी. या प्ले मत करो. सेम थिंग, माय मैनेजर केम टू मी. राहुल गांधी का जो सस्पेंशन था, इट हैज बीन रिलीज्ड नाउ, ही कैन अटेंड द लोकसभा नाउ, गो एंड मेक अ रील. ठीक है, बट अगेन वही हो गया कि मैं जाऊंगा रील ऐसे ये एंकर की तरह मैं भी रील बनाऊंगा कि राहुल गांधी XYZ कि कुछ करते हैं. कुछ यूनिक नहीं किया है हमने, बट सेम एक कॉन्वर्सेशन फॉर्मेट में एक रील शूट किया है. लोग कनेक्ट करते हैं. अगेन ये रील भी अच्छा खासा चला. कुछ नहीं है रील में, कुछ भी नहीं है रील में, जस्ट फॉर्मेट चेंज हो गया. एंड आई एम पर्सनली हैप्पी. वन ऑफ आवर एंकर्स ही केम एंड टोल्ड मी ये मराठी न्यूज इंडस्ट्री में फर्स्ट टाइम किसी ने एक्सपेरिमेंट किया है, कंटिन्यू करना. अनफॉर्चुनेटली कंटिन्यू नहीं कर पाए, बट करेंगे. प्ले कर.
अरे संख्या अख्खं न्यूज रूम शोधलं आणि तू इथे येऊन बसलाय सोय.
अरे त्या HR ने बोललो. हाँ
संख्या मला बघतच का.
हाँ सेम रूरल टच. ठीक है, आगे पूछा कि क्या कर रहा है. मैंने उसे कहा HR का वेट कर रहा हूँ. क्यों? अप्रेजल टाइम था. क्या होता है, योर फोन इट लिसन्स टू यू. ठीक है, और उस हिसाब से वो कंटेंट लाता है. ठीक है, तो टैग में भी अप्रेजल का जितना, ये बहुत अंदर की बात है मतलब डिजिटल में कि टैगिंग कैसे करते हैं वीडियो को. सिर्फ सब्जेक्ट ओरिएंटेड टैग नहीं करते कभी भी. ट्रेंडिंग क्या चल रहा है ना, उसके भी टैग्स सब्जेक्ट से रिलेटेड हो ना हो, बिकॉज द क्रॉलर्स जो भी टेक्निकल होता है वो पुश करता है तुम्हारे वीडियोस को. तो अप्रेजल टाइम था, तो जितना अप्रेजल टाइम का रील्स था सब में हमने वो टैग डाला था. एंड हेंस वी चोज कि चलो ये ले लेते हैं. सेंटीमेंट लोगों का वही है, HR ने बुलाया. सबका सेंटीमेंट मार्च अप्रैल में वही होता है कि HR ने बुलाया, जून में वही होता है कि HR ने बुलाया. सो वी डिड इट. प्ले कर.
राहुल गांधींना सस्पेंड केलं होतं, मग त्यात लोक बोलले कसे काय.
डेमोक्रेसी भावा, ते झालं, तो मॅटर क्लोज झाला. त्यांना ते स्टे वगैरे येऊन त्यांचे आता जाऊ शकतात, ते बोलू शकतात, ते भाषण वगैरे करू शकतात. काय
नाही, पण नक्की मॅटर काय.
अरे ती केस होती 2019ची. कर्नाटकामध्ये काँग्रेसची एक सभा होती आणि त्या सभेमध्ये राहुल गांधी मोदी या सरनेम म्हणून काहीतरी कॉन्ट्रोवर्शियल बोलले की सगळेच मोदी चोर कसे असू शकतात वगैरे वगैरे. आणि त्याच्यावरून ते पूर्णेश मोदी म्हणून भाजपचे एक गुजरातचे नेते आहेत, त्यांनी ती याचिका पिटिशन वगैरे फाईल केली आणि ते अर्थात केस उभी राहिली कोर्टामध्ये. 2001 आपल्याकडे कोर्ट आणि केसेस माहिती आहेत. 2019ला सुरू झालेली केस, त्याचा धक्का राहुल गांधींना बसला आता 4 महिन्यांपूर्वी मार्चमध्ये. त्यांना सुरत कोर्टाने शिक्षा सुनावली आणि त्यांना तुरुंगवास वगैरे काही शिक्षा सुनावली. आणि दुसऱ्या दिवशी त्यांना दुसरा धक्का बसला, तो म्हणजे लोकसभा सेक्रेटरीएट म्हणजे सचिवालयाने त्यांची खासदारकी रद्द केली. त्या दिवशी पण आपण ऑफिसमध्ये होतो. त्यानंतर तुझ्या जर सपोज वर्डिक्ट आला तुझ्या अगेन्स्ट, तर तू अपील वगैरे करू शकतोस. राहुल गांधींनी अपील केली, सुरत कोर्टात केली, गुजरात कोर्टात केली, पण काय नशीब काय इतकं हे नाही झालं आणि मग ते ॲज इट इज राहिलं. पण सुप्रीम कोर्टाने परवा त्यांना दिलासा दिला आणि त्यांच्यावर जी शिक्षा होती त्याच्यावरती स्टे वगैरे आणला. आणि ते झाल्यानंतर अर्थात सेक्रेटरीएटला म्हणजे लोकसभा सचिवालयाला त्यांना त्यांची खासदारकी परत करावी लागली. आणि म्हणून ते आज तुला लोकसभेत दिसले आणि भाषण वगैरे केले. तू बैठे सुना ये वाला. एक चीज ऑब्जर्व की न्यूज इंडस्ट्री में इट इज अ स्टैंडर्ड, योर लैंग्वेज शुड बी फॉर्मल. दिस वाज completely informal. The biggest change in media when we transferred ourselves from mainstream media to digital. Digital तुम्हें वो leverage देता है जो mainstream ने देता है, which is being casual or being informal in your media. एवरी न्यूज चैनल उनका सबका पॉलिसी रहता है कि भले हमारा डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म है, इवन डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म्स पे यू हैव टू बी फॉर्मल, फाइट फॉर इट ना, नहीं चलेगा. मतलब नहीं ना उसका. मैं जाऊंगा डिजिटल पे बैठ के वीडियोस. देयर आर पीपल हु इवन टुडे माय फ्रेंड्स ओनली, they make explainer videos, even I make explainer videos. They make explainer videos using green screen, तो फिर बैकड्रॉप ऐड करते हैं. सेम चैनल जैसा हो गया ना. डिजिटल का क्या है, डिजिटल के लिए एक स्पेस क्रिएट करो, इट शुड लुक ब्यूटीफुल. लोग यूजुअली लाइब्रेरीज ऐड करते हैं, पेस्टल कलर के वॉल्स रहते हैं. गॉट इट. सो अभी लीव द मेन स्ट्रीम मीडिया के हैं, इट इज फाइन. अडेप्ट द चेंज, अडेप्ट दिस चेंज. वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट कंटेंट, राइट, कि कंटेंट कौन सा चलता है. देन आई टोल्ड यू कि आपको पॉलिटिकल देखना अच्छा लगता है. आई हैव सम इमेजेस, वो इमेजेस वाला फोल्डर ओपन. अब कितना फनी है देखना. ये यूट्यूब स्क्रीनशॉट्स, ठीक है. रीड द टाइटल. हाँ, लाइट्स ऑफ. रीड द टाइटल. राज ठाकरे कॉन्वर्ट. आई का छोड़ देना. राज ठाकरे कॉन्वर्ट. व्यूज कितना है? 133K, ठीक है. 1,30,000. नेक्स्ट, उद्धव ठाकरे कॉन्वर्ट. ये एकनाथ शिंदे हाउस. व्यूज कितना है? ऑलमोस्ट 1 मिलियन, ठीक है. नेक्स्ट स्लाइड. एकनाथ शिंदे कॉन्वर्ट टॉप 1 सिंगर. व्यूज कितना है? 178K. नेक्स्ट, शरद पवार एंट्री. व्यूज कितना है? 65. नेक्स्ट, राज ठाकरे एंट्री. व्यूज है 46. नेक्स्ट, 46,000. नेक्स्ट, ओके, डन. कॉन्वॉय और एंट्री में देखने जैसा क्या है बताओ मुझे. कुछ है देखने जैसा? लोग देखते हैं. वे क्यों देखते हैं? इट इज फन, इट इज ग्रैंड, इट इज सिनेमैटिक, इट इज लार्जर देन लाइफ. लोग देखते हैं, लोग पॉलिटिक्स इसलिए देखते हैं. इट इज गॉसिप होता है उसमें. ये अगर मैं बाकी के कुछ मैं लाया नहीं, मैंने एक्चुअली स्क्रीनशॉट बाकी कुछ लेके आता ना, कहीं पानी भर गया है, कहीं पानी नहीं आ रहा है, 2,000 व्यूज, 1,500 व्यूज, पीपल आर नॉट कंसर्न. टॉकिंग अबाउट मीडिया, ठीक है. ये सोशल मीडिया गेम समझा. कमिंग बैक टू, एक मिस हो गया था. मीडिया इज बायस्ड, मीडिया इज बायस्ड, मीडिया इज बायस्ड, ठीक है. समटाइम्स टाइम है ना. Okay, I'll just wind up in next 10 minutes. You know Harish Salve? Harish Salve. Basically, he married for the 3rd time. he is 60 plus.
Yeah.
He is a Supreme Court lawyer.
I
ठीक है,
know.
ये अपलोड मत करना किधर, वो सुप्रीम कोर्ट का लॉयर है.
It's live, sir.
Married for the ठीक है, अभी किया है उसने शादी तो किया है, मैं क्या करूँ. He married for the
Third time, yeah.
टिपिकल इंडियन न्यूज चैनल्स सब बता दिया कहाँ शादी की, किसके साथ की, पहले दो कौन थी, ठीक है, फिर अभी कहाँ की है शादी, कैसे की है, कहाँ मिले, सब कुछ बता, सिर्फ हनीमून बताना बाकी था, सब बता दिया. इतना बम्बार्ड किया ना. बट अगेन सिलेक्शन ऑफ न्यूज, पहले था ना अजीत पवार हमने डिस्कस किया ना, क्विक सेम सिलेक्शन ऑफ न्यूज. हरीश साळवे की वेडिंग पार्टी में ललित मोदी प्रेजेंट था. हु इज ललित मोदी? जेन जी. फॉर अस ललित मोदी इज द वन हु स्टार्टेड IPL, ठीक है, बट लेटर कंट्रोवर्सीज हो गया एंड ललित मोदी टेक्निकली बोलो ना बोलो ही इज नाउ वांटेड, मतलब इंडिया वांट्स हिम. ही वाज प्रेजेंट इन हरीश साळवे's पार्टी. हरीश साळवे इज लेबल्ड एज बीजेपी's लॉयर, वो बीजेपी का केसेस देखता हुआ, ठीक है. न्यूज क्या है इसमें? उसकी शादी हुई वो न्यूज है या ये न्यूज है?
This one.
This one
What
is the
the
news.
one?
हो गया साइड में, हम चले उनके हनीमून पे. दिस इज बायस, दिस इज सिलेक्शन ऑफ न्यूज. अब ये होता है, आई टेल यू एन एग्जांपल, कि अभी विल गेट इनटू एग्जांपल्स, ठीक है. ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन तो हो गया, कुछ बड़ा ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन नहीं हुआ है, सब एज इट इज है. प्लेटफॉर्म्स बदल गए, मस्ती तो वही चल रही है सबकी, सिर्फ प्लेटफॉर्म्स बदल रहे हैं. डिजिटलाइजेशन, इन डिजिटलाइजेशन यू हैव गिवन द लेवरेज टू बी योरसेल्फ. इंडिविजुअल पर्सपेक्टिव आ चुका है. So if you, everybody in this classroom, every single person is now a journalist. Is now a journalist. Go home, एक कई random video shoot करना, edit करना, walk through करना, upload करना, you are a journalist. Mobile journalism आ चुका है. We are into the era of mobile journalism. पर आप नहीं करोगे, BMM स्टूडेंट नहीं करोगे तो कोई नहीं करने वाला है. And I would suggest you, I guess आपका कुछ है भी शायद से, weekly या कुछ करो. वो क्लासरूम में बैठने से बेटर, स्टूडियो में बैठने से बेटर है. Go out, make walk through videos. जो अगर ट्रैफिक जैम है, ट्रैफिक जैम पे करो. क्यों है तो पॉटहोल्स है, कहीं पानी भरा है तो पानी भरा है तो वहां कर लो. आई गारंटी यू 2-4 वीडियोस कर लो, BMC चाय पिलाने बुलाएगा 110%, बिकॉज एवरीवन इज अफ्रेड ऑफ मीडिया. मीडिया ठीक है, वो थोड़ा सा अप्स एंड डाउन सबका आते रहता है, बट मीडिया का पावर अभी भी खत्म नहीं हुआ है. मीडिया इज स्टिल व्हाट अर्लियर इट वाज. पावर ऑफ सोशल मीडिया. See, firstly, the 3 main transformations in social media. Earlier, mainstream media, mainstream news organizations चलाने के लिए important factor कौन सा? You need the news. You need what? News. To get the news, you need what? Source. जो reporters के होते हैं. ठीक है. Today, मतलब post 2014, 15, 16 और जियो इंटरनेट रिवॉल्यूशन 2016, जियो ने इंटरनेट की इतनी आदत डाल दी ना. बिफोर दैट इंटरनेट वाज एक्सपेंसिव. जियो के बाद सबको अपना ओपिनियन देना है सोशल मीडिया पर. ठीक है, फ्री हो गया इंटरनेट, 1 साल तो फ्री. मैंने खुद नहीं यूज किया फ्री इंटरनेट जियो का, ठीक है. उसके बाद क्या हुआ, पीपल स्टार्टेड, मतलब कहीं पे भी वीडियो दिखा, पानी का पाइपलाइन फूटा है, निकाला वीडियो डाला, कहीं कुछ फाइट हो रही है, निकाला डाला, ट्रैफिक जैम है, निकाला डाला. सो सोशल मीडिया प्लेटफॉर्म्स हैव नाउ बिकम द प्राइमरी सोर्स फॉर न्यूज चैनल्स. मतलब मुझे अगर कहीं का वीडियो नहीं मिला तो मैं सबसे पहले जाऊंगा सोशल मीडिया पे, लोकेशन डालूंगा. ये लोकेशन से सर्च होता है अभी फेसबुक पे, इफ यू ऐड लोकेशन आ जाता है. सो सोशल मीडिया हैज नाउ बिकम द न्यूज सोर्स फॉर न्यूज ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, बी इट डिजिटल और इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मीडिया. ड्यू टू दिस गैंग, ध्रुव राठी है, अंध देशभक्त है, या फिर न्यूज लॉन्ड्री है, सोशल मीडिया हैज नाउ बिकम अ मीडिया हब. मीडिया हब एज इन जैसे न्यूज चैनल्स है, वैसे वी हैव यूट्यूब चैनल्स. तो अपना एक इकोसिस्टम है जर्नलिज्म का सोशल मीडिया पर. इट हैज इवेंचुअली बिकम, पहले यूट्यूब भी इट वाज पार्ट ऑफ अ डेली एंटरटेनमेंट, स्केच वीडियोस देते थे. बट अभी यूट्यूब पे जाके सब लोग कुछ इन्फॉर्मेशन वीडियो, सर ने बोला ना अभी, फॉर एग्जांपल editing सीखनी. I have learned Photoshop. I have learned Premiere Pro from YouTube. ठीक है. There was a time एक sketch videos का time था, एक informative videos का time था, and now for YouTube it is time for journalistic ecosystem. और वो हो रहा है. You can be the part of it. ठीक है. Of course, I have told you the power of reels. कितना powerful हो सकता है एक reel. I'll tell you an example. वैसे खत्म कर रहा हो तो मुझे 2 मिनट पहले बता देना प्लीज. I in March power of social media and इसमें आपको ये भी पता चलेगा कि political influences in journalism. I made a video on XYZ politicians on Friday. मतलब he's everything. मतलब research से लेकर सब कुछ वही देखता है. I have a series named Political Journeys and I narrate journeys to basically make videos of political journeys of XYZ politicians. तो मैंने वो बंदे के राइट हैंड के ऊपर वीडियो बना लिया. एंड इज अ बिग मैन. उसने जो किया है ना लाइफ में वो और किसी ने इंडियन पॉलिटिक्स में किया नहीं होगा. सो आई मेड अ वीडियो. We published the video at 9 p.m. in the night. It was, I guess, in March, this year March. वीडियो ज्यादा व्यूज दिया है क्योंकि रात को 9 बजे पब्लिश किया. ठीक है. नेक्स्ट डे माय शिफ्ट was at 11 a.m. I left my house at 10:30. The views were 25,000. मैं ऑफिस गया, मैंने फिर से रिफ्रेश किया. It was 65 plus. तो वो इतना तेज दौड़ रहा था वीडियो. I went to my manager, बोला कि वीडियो मस्त चल रहा है. मैनेजर बोला ठीक है, अपने को निकालना है वीडियो. अपने को वीडियो निकालना है. We have to private the video. क्यों? नहीं तो XYZ politician फोन आया सर का. संकेत ठीक करता था. संकेत को क्या हो गया अभी? So we had to remove the video. So we have chief editor. 2-3 दिन से मैं chief editor को मिला भी नहीं. मुझे पता था मेरा गलती हुआ नहीं, बट गलती निकालने में कितना टाइम लगता है. तो मिला नहीं. एक बार मैं वॉशरूम में था. ठीक है. मैंने किया वीडियो. कुछ नहीं. ठीक है कि बोलो तो सही क्या हुआ. कुछ नहीं. वीडियो ठीक था अपना. तो ऐसा पर्सनल इनसिक्योरिटीज रहता है सबका अपना. तो उसमें वो वीडियो हैड टू प्राइवेट. सोशल मीडिया का पावर दिख गया इसमें. पॉलिटिकल हैंड दिख गया. वीडियो अभी भी प्राइवेट है. अभी भी वीडियो प्राइवेट है. सो दिस इज बेसिकली इंटरेस्टिंग. बहुत ज्यादा है ऐसा नहीं है. ये नॉर्मल है. माय फ्रेंड वाज टेलिंग मी एकनाथ शिंदे there was some case. एक स्टोरी थी सातारा से. some man was involved. was the ex-corporate of शिवसेना. वो फायरिंग हुआ और उसने अच्छा खासा हेडलाइन दे दिया. तो उसको बोला वो हेडलाइन चेंज करना, प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगा थोड़ा सा. तो when I joined XYZ news channel, an XYZ politician from Maharashtra, कोरोना हुआ था और badass politician है, मतलब मस्त. उसने बोला मुंबई बंद तो मुंबई बंद. उसको कोरोना हुआ था and he went to some hospital without wearing mask. ना badass है वो, कुछ भी कर सकता है. So there were news कि अरे XYZ politician है without wearing mask, he went to the hospital. Immediately नहीं वैसा मत चलाओ. Don't be so harsh. Political influences है. जितना लोगों को लगता है ना, जितना लोग ओवर रिएक्ट करते हैं, जितना लोगों को लगता है उतना नहीं है. थोड़ा बहुत है. ठीक है. There was okay, yes, we'll wind it up. चलो questions.
We'll take just 2 questions since we are running late.
Yeah, sure.
Questions. Journalists, Delhi students, please go ahead.
Yeah.
So what do you think that the social media thing is making the scenario worse or it is improving?
It is person to person, completely. On larger part, it is making worse. Everyone, जो भी आता है उठता है, they come on social media, express their opinions, and not necessarily the opinion has to be good or has to be bad. It could be provocative, ठीक है, कुछ भी हो सकता है ओपिनियन. तो सोशल मीडिया ठीक है फिलहाल नेगेटिव चल रहा है सब.
Sir, I'm from Delhi. So, my question here: what would be the future of web content writing and blogs articles?
Again, the problem with web content writing, do we have the readers?
We do have.
The ratio कितने लोग पढ़ते हैं? Frankly बता. मिल गए readers?
Reality with it.
I guess my generation, Gen Z तो बिल्कुल भी नहीं. My generation maybe is the last to read books, novels.
No, sir.
करते होंगे but ratio is very much low. 100:1 का ratio रहेगा तो भूल जाओ. Everybody should read. मतलब अगर फिल्म मेकिंग करना है सर, रीड नहीं करेंगे तो फिल्म क्या बनाएंगे? जर्नलिज्म स्टोरी फाइल करनी है तो रीड तो करना पड़ेगा. फॉर एग्जाम्पल इफ यू आर इन अ न्यूज चैनल एंड XYZ समथिंग आता है, एक न्यूज है, यू हैव टू नो द बैकग्राउंड ऑफ इट. विदाउट नोइंग द बैकग्राउंड कभी न्यूज मत लिखना. क्राइसिस है. डन.
So one more question. So my name is Nikhil. I'm from DME. So जैसा आपने बताया कि अपने न्यू एक्सपेरिमेंट किया न्यूज़ में, तो what do you think कि आने वाले कंटेंट को बूस्ट करने के लिए जो फॉर्मल वे था न्यूज़ डिलीवर करने का, तो ऐसे ही अनफॉर्मल हो सकता है? बिकॉज
हो सकता है बट न्यूज चैनल्स दे हैव टू बी अडेप्टिव. फॉर एग्जांपल उनका नाम मैं भूल गया, मेरे जैसे दिखते हो, सनसनी केस कवर. हां,
From ABP also.
he's from ABP. उनका नाम त्रिवेदी समथिंग. चैन से सुनाई तो जाग जाओ, याद है? ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन था वो मीडिया के लिए. मीडिया में इट इज अ रूल, इफ यू विश टू बी ऑन एयर, बी इट एन एंकर और रिपोर्टर, you need to be clean shaved, short hair. मतलब अभी भी अगर देखोगे तो नो रिपोर्टर, बियर्ड वाला रिपोर्टर नहीं मिलेगा. You have to be clean shaved. और ये पहले से ट्रेंड था. But that person changed it for himself. बाकियों ने कितना अडेप्ट किया उसे? किसी ने नहीं किया. The problem with Indian media is we are not adaptive. Adaptation के लिए बहुत ज़्यादा टाइम ले रहा है. रील्स आके रील्स केम इन आई गेस 2019 और 20, ठीक है. अभी 2024 में घुस जाएंगे 3 महीने में. अभी रील्स का वैल्यू हमें पता चला है कि ओके रील्स 4 साल लगा. ऑफ कोर्स आई एम वन ऑफ दोज पीपल, बट या दिस इज द केस. वी क्लोज इट. ओके, थैंक यू सो मच.
Thank you, sir. The DME Media School would like to present a book to our speakers. I request Dr. Amrish Saxena to please come forward and do the honors. I request Mr. Saurabh Verma to come ahead.
The video is getting blurred. Yeah,
Mr. Sanket Vara, kindly come ahead. Thank you. We will now take a short tea break and be back in 15 minutes. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Students are requested to return